Alright, the talk everywhere is about Goodluck Jonathan and whether he will join the 2027 presidential race. But guess what? His wife, Patience Jonathan, has come out strong with a shocking message that will scatter social media. She said loud and clear, "Leave my husband alone, we want peace." Patience Jonathan told news sources that she and her husband cannot go back to Aso Rock because the suffering and distress in Nigeria is too much. She said, "If God helps you escape, you should thank him. Why go back there again? I need peace. My peace is enough." This is coming at a time where pressure is building for Jonathan to run again in 2027 under the PDP, while presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga has already warned him not to fall for it, reminding Nigerians of his 2015 defeat. But the big question now is, will Jonathan listen to his wife and stay out, or will he shock the nation by declaring? And wait till you hear this one. In this exclusive video, Jonathan himself drops a shocking bombshell confession on corruption scandals in his government and the presidency. Watch carefully to the end because this revelation will shake the 2027 race like never before.
How you delivered as president?
Definitely it does. Because when you pass through my kind of life history, trajectory, from nothing to the top, that's supposed to humble you. So if you see the next child or the next person, and if that person is still low, you should know that if you are able to get up from that level to the peak, that child too can get to the peak. That really helps you in terms of your relationship with people. Remember, President, a very humble person. I must be humbled because I was not born with silver spoon in the mouth. I grew from the gutter, kind of, in a rural setting. So it was by divine providence that Nigerians voted for me and become their president. So that humbles you. And that makes you to have that patience to listen to people.
So, Mr. President, we in UNDP, we support elections, right? We are there all the time to support elections to be fair, free, and stable. And I have to say, as a UN official who's been in these countries when elections are being held, the biggest issue is not elections, it's accepting the result of the elections. And there we sort of brace ourselves for conflict, for violence, because culturally, in a lot of these elections, it seems acceptance is a real issue. And then, as a result, we have a lot of instability. Electoral violence on the continent is quite pervasive. You stood out when you conceded an election even before the results. And I think the world was watching because we know that Nigeria is very vulnerable to violence because it's a multi-ethnic society as well, and sometimes elections can go that route. So any little spark could sort of lead to huge violence. But you stood out and you conceded. Can you sort of narrate to us a little bit what that moment was like?
Thank you. Just like you mentioned, as a leader, especially as the president of a country, taking decisions are very complicated issues because the decisions you take don't affect only you, but affect so many people. And a complex country like Nigeria, where ethnicity is always there, religion is always there. And when you are taking certain decisions, especially politically related, it affects the people that work with you. It affects the ethnic group. It affects people who have the same faith with you. So there are so many things. But even at that, a president must take very hard decisions as long as you are convinced that that is in the best interest of the people, even if that decision will cost you personally. When you mentioned the issue of the elections, I think I gave you a copy of my book in Ghana. If you read a section of it, I mentioned what was going through my mind those last hours leading to the elections and for me to concede defeat and call late General Buhari to congratulate him even before the election was formally announced. One thing can guide anybody to take such decisions. First and foremost is the motive that takes you to politics. Why did you get into politics? On the average, I can say probably more people get into politics because they want to make money. If that is your driving motive for going to the politics, then you wouldn't want to leave the office. You prefer to die there in the office. But if that is not the reason, you want to serve the people, and you notice that things have changed, and if you don't take certain decisions, it will affect the very people that you want to serve. In Nigeria then, I knew as a president that the country was very tense. And it could have led to killings and destruction of private properties. And when I look at the whole scenario, I felt that no, it's not about being the president of Nigeria. In line with my slogan during the campaigns, that my political ambition to be the president of Nigeria is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. So I had to take that decision to make sure that we protect people's assets. Because we worked hard for that 5 years I was the president of Nigeria. We encouraged local and foreign investments in the country. And I cannot sit down and watch people vandalizing and destroying people's investment in the name of political conflicts, like we see what is happening in South Sudan, what is happening in Sudan and other countries. These countries have been degraded because of leadership struggle. And I feel Nigeria should not pass through that trajectory as a nation. And so it was easy for me to take that decision. It was not too pleasing to everybody. And of course, people who worked with me suffered because of that decision. But still, I'm happy today that I took that decision to save the life of people, to protect the investment of Nigerians. And I think Nigerians even appreciate me more now than when I was in office. So what is the issue of being a president for? Anybody can be a president. But when you become a president, what did you leave behind? What will people remember you for? That is fundamental. Thank you.
So, you talked about motive and you talked about, people sometimes going to for making money. But actually, a lot of those who end up in these positions have already, maybe yours is an exception, but most of our leaders come from money. And so you wonder, what is the other motive? What else? I mean, we also know about power, right? And I've often wondered how leaders in Africa in particular, where there is a bit of a worship culture, you find that once you get to a certain position, people around you literally worship you. And they create this sense of a God. Leaders are actually made by the people, and unfortunately in the context of Africa, we revere this position perhaps to the extreme. How does that make you feel when you stand up, a million people around you stand up? They're literally like, hey, Oga, Igwe, you're sort of revered, and how do you resist playing God? How does that make you feel? How do you retain some form of humility despite this worship?
Thank you so much. In your introductory remarks, I mentioned that a number of people who became leaders in our countries, presidents, prime ministers, came from money, which is true. But don't forget that elementary economics said that human wants are insatiable. No, the human wants, nobody earns money and he thinks it's enough. So they will expect to get more. You think that they are so rich, they are stupendously rich, but to them, they want more. And to me, one key thing about what I notice is there's a slight difference between corruption to make money and greed The greatest problem we have in most of our countries is greed by leaders. Not necessarily heads of state alone, even those who have the opportunity to head departments of government. It's greed that can make somebody steal money that you will not spend. That is beyond corruption. If you read this book written by one British journalist, Richard Dowden, published in 2008, read the section on Nigeria. It talks about corruption in Nigeria. So, the people who have the privilege of being heads of state, if they are not greedy, they use the resources better. They make sure the resources go around through projects and other in the nations better. But when they are greedy, one person alone will want to take 50% of the resources or the income of the country and go and hide it in a bank abroad that he will not even spend the money. So these are the fundamental issues. So yes, you talked about heads of state or leaders now becoming like little gods, deities. Some people like to be worshipped, and maybe that is one of the things that makes me completely different. I hate it. I don't like it at all. In fact, those who have worked with me when I was in office, from the state to the center, and even those who are still working with me, they will know my ways of life. My executive director is here, and my medium aide is also here. I hate a situation where this hero worship, where people begin to worship leaders as if you are not a human being again. And that one gets into the mind of leaders, and they begin to play the role of God on earth.
At the time you took office, Nigeria was declared the largest economy in Africa. That means something. But at the same time, multidimensional poverty in Nigeria was greater than anywhere else in Africa. And then, so you're looking at this situation. How did you rein in on those habits and tendencies that robbed millions of Nigerians, hard-working people, by the way, of the opportunity to prosper? What was your biggest challenge in trying to address the issue?
First and foremost, there are two levels of poverty. The multidimensional poverty, I would say that people are extremely poor. These are most cases peasants. People who have no skills, probably not even educated. And for you to make sure that people get out of that level, you must look at what dominates the local economies in the various areas and encourage it. In Nigeria, we're an agrarian society. And that is why we did very well in agriculture. If you interview Akin, the president, ADB president, he will tell you what we did. It was because of what we did in agriculture that made him to even be appointed or elected as the president of the African Development Bank. So that is to make sure that that was form of poverty at that level. Then, of course, the other level is, look, we cannot continue. To Nigeria, we are known for crude oil. We export crude oil. Then we import petroleum products. This is not ironical. We export the crude oil. Then we go to other countries to import aviation fuel, we import PMS for our cars, we import kerosene. So we started encouraging that, look, we must have refineries. The government refineries were all broken down. We tried to reactivate them, but it was always a problem. So the only thing is to encourage the private sector. And we started the journey. Now, Dangote, in fact, Nigeria is no longer importing petroleum products. We started that journey. And we didn't do much in the solid mineral sector. Maybe because there were too many, we changed the ministers too frequently. But that was my directive to any of the ministers that I appointed. We cannot continue to export raw material. Go to Nigeria, go to states like Zamfara State, where the poverty level is quite high. So you can see the level at which people operate. But you have gold. And people from modern nationalities, from what you see, are just using the locals to steal and send it out of the country. So until we are able to exploit our own resources, add value to our own resources, and export the finished produce, we cannot just claim we are rich, we are rich, we are rich. We are poor. That is clear. Then when we talked, maybe you talked about issues of corruption in Africa. Yes, though sometimes some of these corruption issues that we read in the papers are somehow blown out of proportion. Let me give you an example. To me, when I came into office, 2011, I signed the Freedom of Information Bill into law, passed a law to give journalists and people in civil society free access to get any information you want to get from any department of government. Somebody who wants to be stealing money will not do that. So that if you hear anything, whistleblower anything, you are free to go. And if the government official failed to give you that information, it's a criminal offense. We did that. When we were to celebrate 2010, when we were to celebrate 50 years of our independence, 50 years of Nigerian independence, that's something I did with my cabinet. Probably if my governor here, maybe if he attended council meeting that day, he will remember. I bought this book written by Richard Dawson called Africa, Altered States, Ordinary Miracles, and talks about all kinds of things across. It's a British journalist that has been covering Africa since 1975. When he talks about Nigeria, life in Lagos, corruption in Nigeria, and so on. I bought that book and distributed to council members. And I also bought this Singaporean man's book from third to first, Ali Kuan Yew or so. Yes, I said they should read. Then I asked them to read a section on Nigeria, especially from Richard's book. So I told them that this program, we'll have a conference like this, but we are going to invite that man to be the keynote speaker. And my own minister said, President, no. That this man that finished us, no, you cannot bring him. I said, the man did not finish us. We must invite him, let him come and speak. Let us know the perception of people about us. Some may be ordinary perception, some may be real. Let us not deceive us. Well, as executive president, I forced on my ministers. We invited that man.
You made an executive order.
Then I also invited one lady, a white lady from South African journalist that wrote a book based in Korean politics. This is our turn to chop. You know this lady, Michelle, yes, Michelle Wrong. As one of the panelists, Kenya and Nigeria have some similar attributes in terms of certain things. And my ministers were looking at me. I said, they must come. We must interact with them. And we had a conference. Dodin said that when he got the invitation, he was surprised that probably the president is inviting him so that the president will hurt him because of what he wrote about Nigeria. But that is my mind. So it was totally committed to, you can't eradicate corruption completely, but should be able to reduce it to the level that will not affect society again. At least one country that has done well recently is Rwanda. Kagame is doing quite well in terms of that. I did not succeed to that level. I know during my government there was this scandal, which was more political than, and those who read it. For example, the CBN governor, the head of my treasury, raised an alarm that we lost $49.8 billion between January 2012 and July 2013. That's the period of 1 year, 7 months. When you call $59.8 billion, just call it $50 billion. And it was surprising. And I don't think from the income, the oil income, I don't think when the IOCs, the operators remove their own and so on, what the government and cannot be up to that within that space of time. It's a lot of money. Later on, when there was so much talks about it, it changed it to 12 billion, later it changed it to 20 billion. So even the figures, though everybody talks about for the 49.8, but the 12 billion later mentioned and 20 billion later mentioned. The Senate has to investigate and using consultants. One of the senators is here, Senator Negi, and they did not see the money. The government has to use PWD, PricewaterhouseCoopers, to audit. And PricewaterhouseCoopers said that NNPC cannot properly give proper account to about $1.48 billion. They queried that they did not say it was stolen, but in terms of documentation and so on, they couldn't give proper account. But the story is that under Jonathan, the country lost $50 billion. I remember that year when we had the conference between Africa and Europe, EU. So when we went to Brussels, Of course, Angela Merkel, then the Chancellor of Germany, asked me for a bilateral. So she invited me. So I have to go there with some of my ministers. Immediately we got in. She did not even allow me to sit down. So, said President Jonathan that Nigeria lost $49.8 billion. I just looked at her and said, well, Your Excellency, you know, Germany, the economy is quite strong. So 49.8, just call 50 billion. So your economy is strong. So if you lose $50 billion, you'll not notice it. But in Nigeria, if we lose $50 billion, the federal government, the state governments will not be able to pay salaries. Yes. So she just turned and looked at me and said, well, even in Germany, $50 billion is a lot of money. And ended there. So people will just hear some of these figures. But when you go into it, it is not quite correct. So yes, there is corruption in Africa, there is corruption in Nigeria, no doubt about that.
Yes.
But some of the stories are not absolutely correct.
Yeah. We know that you have established the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, and you are also part of this mediation force under the elders. Could you share maybe some behind-the-scenes story where your identity as a former president made a difference in a tense mediation situation, and what qualities do African leaders need most to be effective peace builders today? We're looking for jobs for former presidents so that they can actually leave. So if you can sort of give us some insights on life after the presidency, and what you would advise those who are in power and contemplating maybe also conceding, what qualities they would need or what opportunities are there for them to continue to make their legacy.
Thank you. You raised a number of things. I hope I'll be able to cover all of them. Anyone that I don't, probably somebody that person can ask. But the key thing is the word trust. Even relating to the activities of a former president, relating to leaders and the citizens of their country. Trust is not something that you can impose or even use the holy books to deceive people. People look at you and look at your family, and you cannot, maybe you have children that are just in their 20s and they are driving the best cars, they've been hitting people, killing people, spraying money in pop clubs and so on, living a very kind of lavish life, and you were a government functionary. Be it a president, be it a governor, be it a minister or thereabouts. And you expect people to trust you. Nobody will trust you. So your lifestyle will attract that trust. If people don't believe in you, they will not trust you. And it affects the relationship between leaders. And you could talk from morning till night. For example, probably when you are in office, all the pebbles, you take it to the right. You have left office as a president, you've gone to another president and say, please, these pebbles, don't take everything to the right, spread it. The man will look at you and go, look at this hypocrite. So, in fact, because of the way a leader lives his life and the circumstances around you, can make it easier for you to solve problems. Look at this, the last election in the Gambia here. We came under the platform of the West African Elders Forum. When the results were announced, the country was tense. That night, it was about 11, between 11 and 12 or so. We get the signals that the youths from the opposition have gathered in the house of the opposition leader. And they want to mobilize that night to create havoc in the city of Banjul. So what do we do? And the security were everywhere. So if these youths move out in that night, they will clash with the security with weapons. Definitely there will be few deaths. We have to move to the person's house. And when we got there, we saw the sea of young, angry people outside the house. But immediately we were walking in that night, and they were talking to themselves, who is that? So President Jonathan, President Jonathan. The hearing that was President Jonathan alone calmed the atmosphere, about 50%. that at least we've gone to listen to them, and this is a man that would surely say the truth to government or whatever. Because we passed through, we had a conversation with the leader until we were able to convince them to disperse the youth. So sometimes a personal reaction. When we went to the Botswana election, Botswana, the ruling party that just lost the election, was there for 58 years. From independence, only one party that was able to rule. And before the election, the president has left. I said, Jonathan, well, you were the president of Nigeria and you left. So if I lost the election, I will leave. So that's what he said. That means that he remembered what I did in Nigeria. So in one way or the other, sometimes people don't say it out. But sometimes just seeing you and remembering what you stand for brings some kind of calmness in them. So definitely, the issue of trust is critical for leaders and even for the interaction with people generally.
Excellencies, thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I'm a senator in the Nigerian Parliament. Mr. President, let me most profoundly say I'm so proud of you. Your opening speech has actually made our days here. Mr. President recalled when you were in power, I was in the Senate, and of course, the deputy Senate leader, we had majority both in the House of Reps and in the Senate and in the subnationals. That means we had more governors, almost 22 to 21 governors, and almost 473 local governments out of 77 from Nigeria. My question has to do with this scenario of most leaders, particularly in Nigeria, having what you call in the Nigerian parlance cabal. This cabal are defined as the inner caucus of most head of states or president in Nigeria. And there was this rumor that if the cabal had known you are going to concede to the president, we had this rumor that you would have been drugged, so that you will be sleeping for 24 hours. And therefore, there is no way you concede. Secondly, we heard that there was this rumor that they make it almost impossible for you to come out and address the Nigerian nation while conceding. Mr. President, my question is, did you foresee at that material time that there are some interest groups within the presidency and outside the presidency that had that ambition, and therefore you did a fast one on them and quickly concede even before the formal announcement of the official result?
In terms of the issue of cabal, I don't know, Nigeria, that word cabal has now come to stay in our political vocabulary. But there is nobody who will hold a very high office, even in the private sector, that don't have some key people around him. No matter how knowledgeable you are, you need people to sometimes give you certain suggestions, sometimes look at something differently. So there's absolutely nothing wrong in a president having some key leaders that he can, because not everybody will easily have access to the president. In one way or the other, he may have some friends, some old colleagues, and so on. The problem we have is that, and that's why we use this name cabal and we put some kind of negative connotation to it, because the advice and their suggestions is to their own benefit. If they are advising the president or the prime minister on general things that will bring benefit to the public, nobody will frown about it. Why should the president have a cabinet of ministers? They are all cabal, because they meet in the executive council to conspire about how they will run the country. But it's just a larger cabal. So, yes, so presidents have that. I don't really have a cabal by definition. But yes, some elders, some people senior to me who have been in government before me, who have seen it all, from time to time see me to make suggestions. And that is normal for everybody. I remember there was a time I was talking with the first military governor of the old River State, King Spiv, who was a governor at the age of 24. as a military officer. He said that sometimes when he called some of his commissioners and direct them to do certain things, they will turn at him and say, my son will not do it this way. So you have those kind of who are senior to you that sometimes can help. So there is nothing wrong. And there is no cabal that confused me. That day, I remember vividly that I called General Buhari. Results were coming in. Then I witnessed the incident that happened at the National Election Center when Elder Rubebe, who was representing me, challenged Jiga, the chairman of the National Independent Electoral Commission. And it was very bad, and people say the country would go into crisis. We witnessed all that. So, yeah, some of my aides, some ministers were there with me, some of my aides were there. And people were talking random. I couldn't even talk. I was just listening to people. Everybody is making one suggestion or the other, and so on. I remember Ngozi too was there, the finance minister then. Attorney General, I think, was also there. Dudafa was there. This theater minister then, Shidoka. Shidoka was also there and so on. I listened to everybody who was talking. So at a point, I left them and entered to my study down. And I called the control to link me up with President Buhari then. I didn't even tell them. So they linked me up, then I congratulated Buhari. So after that, I came back to join them, and they were still talking. And I said, well, gentlemen, no need to talk again. I've congratulated Buhari, it's over. Then Chidoka, and I said, President, have you done that? I said, yes. Then he said, can I tweet it? I said, go on and tweet it. So it was Chidoka that tweeted. And it went viral. So the stories of Kabad pushing left and right, I don't think it was quite correct. There was nothing like that. Then you ask whether there are certain things I would have loved to do, but I couldn't do. Yes, everybody. I was there for 5 years. So definitely you cannot exhaust what you will have loved to do for your country. But I don't need to lament over such issues. The people who have taken over will continue to run the country the way they see Nigeria. Will continue to look at them and make their own suggestions. I don't want to begin to lament over what I would have done differently or whatever. So thank you for that.
Now, my people, let me ask you this. If Goodluck Jonathan decides to return for the 2027 presidency, do you think he can truly fix Nigeria's problems this time around, or has his time already passed? Just like Presidency Jonathan is saying, should he listen to his wife and protect his peace, or should he answer the call of those pushing him to run again? This is not just about Jonathan, it's about the future of Nigeria. So I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.